Hello, everybody, and welcome to Twillow Talk. I'm Tanys Coughlan from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy. I am joined by my beautiful co-host, Jennifer Jurkofsky.
Hello, hello. Happy New Year.
We are on the wrong sides.
Well, we can flip it.
I will do that. I just feel better on that side somehow. We are creatures of habit, aren't we? Well, I am, I guess.
Oh my gosh, it never works.
So how is everyone doing? How was your vacation? We were away for a week, away from the show for a week. We were not away, but we were staycationing. And so, as you can see, we had we've done a little bit of rebranding for the show.
Yeah.
So you can let us know what you think as we go along. Say a quick hello to Hypnicity, Milani.
Hello.
Welcome. And yeah, how are you?
Good. It was a lovely break. You know, a lot of people had lots of things going on and all of that, but it was nice. It was calm. I kind of just like shut down from everything, which I really needed.
Yes, me too.
And it was good.
Yeah.
Awesome. How about you? You said me too. So you shut
Yes.
down as well?
Yes, I did. I did. I didn't do a whole lot of
it. A break.
You kind of know. We kind of know. We're kind of talking about it for your benefit, not for ours. It's how we roll. We want to include you. So that's how it is.
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Oh, that's amazing. Milani, welcome. That's great.
Yay.
Congratulations.
41 years. Amazing.
Awesome. Very good.
Yeah, big shifts in life, right? When we're able to overcome such huge things and change where we're at. And
absolutely. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I guess we could talk about the solar stuff. Whoops.
What's the weather?
What is our weather like today? Oh, I got to share the screen and everything. Well, just
we're really on it today.
I'm just going to share my screen.
We're so on top of things.
We're still on vacation a little bit, but it's okay. Here we are. All right, so here's our space weather. This is solar flares. So we haven't had any in the last couple of days that were of any note. This one was the highest at a C8. So nothing too much in the last 2 days. We did have some stuff. We had, as you can see here, New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve, I should say, an M7, which, we felt within a few days of that. And I believe there was another one as well. That was the 7th. There was a couple that were actually Earth facing, and it's for CMEs that happened. So they hit over the weekend. And so you may have been, you might have felt some of that. I don't think they were huge, but it was enough to bump up against us a little bit. It was right in around here, right? The 2nd, we had this little bump, which was our KP, up around 5 into the yellow, not huge, but definitely out of the green section. So, that'll do it. Our Schumann today, as we have our ad here, our Schumann today is 16. We've had a couple of blips, in the last couple of days here, but fairly stable the last little bit. So that's kind of interesting, right? Yes, absolutely. Lots of energy around the Cancer full moon. Yes.
A beautiful moon. Holy moly.
Yep.
Right. Definitely. Driving yesterday, so not quite full moon, but it was still
It was beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, it was really nice. So yeah, so we've had some ups and downs over the holidays, but nothing too serious, like nothing too earth shattering in terms of energy or whatnot. So yeah, but yeah, the full moon was definitely powerful.
Yeah.
Very much about releasing, right? Because it was on the weekends. It was just after the full moon, after New Year's, which is also about renewal and everything. So really bringing that in. Very good. Yes, we are in a 1 year. And so that does create that new beginnings that we get. And big hello to Kaylee.
Hello.
G'day.
Yeah. Well, and on that, so over the weekend in class, Tanys had asked about doing all the transits like for the next little bit, because we have some huge transitions coming energetically. So and I actually just did a blog about this on Passenger Consciousness. So if you guys want to read like all the details, and I have all the transits between now and the end of February on there, just to help us through this energy. But what we're doing is, so the Gregorian calendar shifts. So we go from a 9-year to a 1 year. And then we have the human design new year in January, near the end of January, when we go into the gate 41, which is the start codon. And so that's the energy that allows us to make change. So I was actually contemplating doing a little thing on, like, now is not the time to do your resolution. And I may still do that. We'll see. But it's important because the energy isn't there yet for us to do anything new. And so we're actually going into the year of the fire horse. But that's not until the 17th of February. So right now we are still in wood snake territory. And right now the energy and the transits that we're in are still releasing energy. It's still the letting go. And so you think about 9 being that kind of releasing, transition, ending, and 1 is new beginnings. But even in that new beginning energy, there's still some releasing that has to happen before we get to that place where we're ready to really run, right? That's not going to be until mid-February when that horse energy comes in. And so taking the time to notice, like, we're going to have energetic transitions quite a few times before we actually get to these shifts. And that's a good thing. It's time still for releasing the last little bit. And what's interesting is right now we're just at the very end of the gate 38. The gate 38 is the fighter. So this is about what is really worth fighting for. Where is it that I want to put my energy? What is important? What still maybe needs to be let go of so that I'm not continuing to carry that. So the 38 gate is the gate of opposition. And like I said, it's the fighter. It's stubbornness to overcome the odds. So you think about that in terms of a New Year's resolution versus thinking about that in terms of what is it that's in my best interest? What have I been struggling with? Struggle is the shadow of this. What actually needs perseverance and all for me to honor moving forward? So perseverance, the gift, honor, the siddhi, and what actually has to be let go. And so we're in a place right now where we might feel like we're ready to start pushing, but we're not quite there yet. And it gets even more complicated because the next gate that we're going into, which it's transitioning between today and tomorrow, is the gate 54. The gate 54 is the marrying maiden. This is about physical alchemy. This is the gate of ambition and the drive to rise up. Now think about this. We're not yet in the energy to take off running. We are still in literally the tail end of the snake energy shedding, right? It's just at the very end, shedding the off the tail still. And we're getting this pressure to begin to move forward, drive ambition. What is it that I want to bring forward? What is going to be aligned for me? The shadow of this energy is greed. And the gift of this energy is aspiration. bringing us to the siddhi of ascension. Now, when we talk about things like ascension, so often we have to take a step back and go, wait a minute, a big part of that is shedding our old skin, right? So these things are lining up, and they're lining up for important reasons with the energy that we have right now, because there's still some things that we have to shed in order to move forward in the way that we want to move. But because this energy is here and we're not yet in a place to start really going forward, we can end up in this victimhood of lack of drive, or feeling unambitious, or the reactive side of that is the greed that comes in. I need more, I want more, I need to make it happen. And so how often do we get into New Year's resolutions that push, 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 I've got to make it happen, I've got to make it happen, right? And then we fall short. Well, we fall short because the energy just isn't there yet for that. It's the setting of the stage. We're still in that planning phase. We're still in that part where we're going, okay, if I want to look at drive and ambition, but I want to look at it from the slow snake still shedding its skin, what does that mean? It means that I'm researching. It means that I'm exploring possibilities. I'm sitting with it to see what actually feels aligned for me and what doesn't. And I'm shifting my priorities based on that. So I'm not yet taking the action, but I'm holding space now to see, where do I want to be successful? Where do I want to start moving and advancing? That's where I want to start putting my energy towards, but I'm still in that planning stage, right? So this is the conscious part of that conscious aspiration that Richard Rudd talks about in the Gene Keys about 54, because here it's contemplating what we want to strive for and what success looks like for us, so that we don't operate from that fear-based place when we start to move in that direction. So some things to kind of explore over the next little bit. What am I striving for? And what really motivates me? What is actually important? What might fear or comparison shape? Like, how might that shape my ambition? And then, how do I define success? Who taught me that definition? Where did that come from? Is that actually my definition? Do I have a different definition? And sit with those energies and see what really resonates for you, so that the affirmation, my ambition is guided by integrity and devotion. I rise naturally as I align with my true purpose. This is the energy that we really want to be bringing forward. And in order to do that, we're still shedding. Okay, so my ambition is guided by integrity and devotion. I rise naturally as I align with my true purpose. I'll put that in the comments for you guys.
Awesome. So we have a couple of people that have joined us. So we have Ocean Garnet.
Hello.
Welcome. Where are we here? There we are. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year to you as well. And Hypnocity says growth is not always comfortable. We need to shed stuff. We do.
Truth.
And Dee is here. Hey, Dee. Yes.
Yeah,
shedding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Us too. Definitely us too. It's I say that because we did some shedding yesterday. I think it's relevant. Should we talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
So we went to see the Avatar movie, and of course, as you know, we have Galactic history and all of that stuff, and it was quite impactful for both of us. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to ruin it for people, but
no spoilers. We will, but
we did a lot of releasing. Let's just say we released like the second half of the movie. We were releasing. Yeah, we were glad we were together to do it, so that it was, comfortable.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So we're still releasing. We were talking about that earlier too, that there's still some stuff from watching the movie that we still feel may come up for us in terms of that. So, you know, and of course, holiday time, there's always stuff that comes out, and we have our things and all of that. So,
yeah.
Welcome, Leah. I see you're driving.
Yeah. Hello, hello. Thanks for listening as you cruise along. Drive safely. I don't know where you're at, but the roads are pretty rough around here.
Yeah. Yeah, this was something, this was part of our issue, I think, but there was more as well because of the subject matter, I think, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it is hard when there is this kind of entitlement and violence and very much the greed that we were talking about in the transit. It's very prevalent in those movies, from the perspective of the humans, right? Trying to take everything.
Not the ETs, but the humans were doing it.
You know, and I think that there's, you know, such a beautiful, you know, way that they navigate some of that. Some of the things that they do in connection with Awa, which is the, you know, the oneness that is there in the movie. And so it is hard. It is hard to get through the violence of it and all of that.
But the scenery and stuff, spectacular.
Oh, absolutely. And for those of us who've been through the wars with the Galactics and all of that, I think that there is, you know, we hide from it often. And I can say that, you know, from my own perspective and understanding too, where when things are really difficult or we have traumatic experiences, we often shut down and we don't want to come back to them because we don't want to give them power and we don't want to give them any ability to impact us. And yet our ability to confront it and go, you know what, you don't get to control me anymore. I'm going to make a shift in the way that I'm navigating this, and I'm not going to be stuck in it anymore, right? Like Abramate talks a lot about how, you know, we live in the trauma, but if we can get to that place where we actually survived it, and obviously if you're in the midst of it, that's not what we're talking about, but looking at that place where we've gotten past it and then being able to live from that point on, not still living in the mess of it. And I think that sometimes things like this that are so reminiscent of these traumatic experiences, and Tanys and I were talking afterwards too, like it wasn't even just that lifetime. There were other lifetimes that we had that were very relevant to specific scenes. And it was a beautiful, even though difficult, experience to witness that. And to notice what, you know, what was happening in the dynamic from this observer place. It's so powerful. And so it does allow for a bit of that kind of shift to take place if we're willing to allow it.
Yeah. And I think, you know, even though we cried, that was a good thing for me anyway. I don't want to speak for you, Jen, but for me, it was a good thing for me. I was able to work through some more. Like it's like working through another layer, one that I don't know if I could have worked through it in a different way, you know? So like divine intervention always, but it was powerful in that way, because there was one particular scene that was very similar to one of my past lives that did not end as well as the movie did. And it was quite, that lifetime, that memory from the lifetime was quite impactful when I had it come back consciously. So for me to be able to work through another layer of that in a different way, like actually seeing it visually on a screen that was very similar, it was valuable for me in terms of moving forward, because it does just feel like another layer was able to be released that, like I said, I might not have been able to in a different way because it was what it was. Yeah,
absolutely.
I know we're being very cryptic because we don't the movie.
Yeah, but that being said too, you know, that way of processing and all isn't the way for everybody, and that's okay too, right? Like if it's not something that resonates, that's totally fine. But just noticing what does, and you know, what helps you to process through, and then giving yourself permission to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we were, I mean, and of course the stage was set for us in a really great way, because it was not a very full theater for us. And, you know, I was, you don't want to compare yourself, but there was at least, I heard somebody sniffing behind me, so I didn't feel alone in my, in my sniffles.
I heard somebody sniffling next to you, but I mean.
Yes, yes. But we weren't alone. Jen and I weren't alone. There were others that were sniffing too. So it was, yeah. Not that it doesn't really matter, but at least there's the comfort of knowing, you know, you're not the only one sitting there. Right?
Yeah.
So it was good.
Yeah.
Welcome, Lionel. Thank you for joining us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, it's so interesting too when we look at the energies and where we are, and, you know, giving ourselves that grace to just be where we are. Right? It's okay. And I, you know, as much as it is a bit difficult, and there's a bit of a dichotomy in the sense that, like, here we are in this energy of drive and ambition, and yet we're still in that snake energy where we're going calm. We don't have the legs yet to do the running. Can we give ourselves permission to be in that energy and to allow it to just unfold for us, right? We don't have to push anything. We don't have to force anything. We really can just kind of sit back and go, okay, let me sit in this. Let me see what comes, right? You may have a lot of downloads. You might have a lot of things coming in that you go, oh, I want to do that. And oh yeah, I want to do that. It's okay to just make a list right now.
Yeah. That's what I've been doing. Let's just make a list. What's possible this year? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because when you take vacation, and I allowed myself to just be, and getting the downloads and stuff, and I'm like, okay. Yeah. I felt that, like, lack of motivation. Like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. For later. It was like, yeah, I think I need to ride that wave, you know, in that emotional authority. So I'm like, I'm just going to ride that wave a little, and let's just see where it takes us.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing too about the snake energy right now, is like, it's, if half of the world's population is this emotional authority, and you need to we're human design talking. If you're not sure what that is, go look at the website, Pastor Consciousness CA. You'll see all about it, all of the laugh and learns I did with Gerald, all that kind of fun stuff. But with this authority, everybody, 100% of the world's population has to deal with the emotional wave. Yeah. If you are defined, you have to ride your wave. If you are undefined, you need to get out of the wave and release it. So it doesn't matter who you are, you have to deal with this energy. And the snake is so great for that, because it is that slow moving energy. It didn't have to be fast. And so here we are making all of these preparations. The energy is there for us to begin to prepare. And yet we're still in this slow moving, releasing energy, right? So ride that wave, sit with it. Is this something I want to continue? Is this something I want to let go of? Do I want to make room for something new? Do I want to maintain this? Right? Where does my energy want to go and flow? And then holding space to see, like, does that feel right before any decision has to be made?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I do have that push though too, that you were talking about, because I was feeling like, oh my God, especially before Christmas, whatever the transit was just before, I was like, oh my God, I gotta get this done. I gotta get that done. I gotta get this done. And then I was like, dude, chill.
Dude.
You gotta chill. Dude. Calm myself, right? Chill. You gotta chill. So, you know, did what I had to, and then I vacation, sit, be, just be.
Yeah.
So important for those moments.
Well, and it's interesting too, right? You talk about the one just before. And so leading up to Christmas, we were in the gate 10, and the gate 10 brings us through the shadow of self-obsession to the siddhi of being through the gift of naturalness. Right? And so it really is about like, who am I? How do I want to show up? This is the G center, right? Love, identity, direction, and, you know, embodied integrity. And what does that look like? And if I'm not doing the things, then what's wrong with me? And there's comparison in that shadow, and you know, self-judgment and and all of that, right? And so we notice like, oh, okay, yeah, these patterns are for reals.
Yeah.
And they do impact us, that energy.
Absolutely. Yep. Those
I'll
neutrinos.
have a lot to say about this.
Apparently, yes. Yeah, it's those neutrinos, they come in.
Yeah, they really do. And then you think about like the combination between the solar flares and all of that. Like we haven't really dove into it. I did a blog series on it again on passenger consciousness, like really deep diving into neutrinos and all of that. But you know, all of these particles are coming in from the sun, and so when the sun has one of its, you know, corona mass ejections, I say the sun just farted on us. The moment that that happens, right, there's this massive influx of these neutrinos that are bringing in this energy. And so when we have that within certain transits, we notice that there's actually a spike in that energy, and we can see that as a collective, there's certain things that happen or change on a universal level with people. And it's really quite fascinating to observe and watch.
It is. You know, you can't make this stuff up. So you watch it happening on like the macro stage, like the world stage, right? I mean, for us, sometimes it's happening galactically as well, but for the earth itself, it's like this macro stage. And then you watch people going through stuff and you're like, huh, yeah, okay, they're doing that too. Okay, and and there it is in my life. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I see it so often, and I'm sure you probably do too, with clients coming in and the concerns. And you know, there's been a few times, especially people who like are, you know, they're into the human design, and so they'll ask me like, what's the transit, what's going on? And I'm like, don't worry, give it 6 days, you'll be on to something else.
Yeah.
Right. And it's and not to downplay or anything, you know, what's going on, but we do, because we are so impacted by the energies, and sometimes more than others, right? Like if it's something that's already in our chart or things like that, we might not feel it as much, or it might just heighten something for us. Whereas if it connects something, a channel that, you know, we don't normally have, then there's going to be even more energy and impact for it. But ultimately what happens is we go, oh yeah, last week I was really focused on this, and now I'm really focused on this. And now and then, you know, and then we go into the following week, it's like, oh yeah. And if we check, we can see that there is an interesting change that happens when the neutrinos shift. Yeah,
it's true. So just like, you know, we always joke about the weather. You don't like the weather, just wait a minute. Well, it's the same. You don't like the solar weather, just wait a minute. It'll change. Okay, maybe a few minutes, but you know, we're patient beings, right? It can be.
But it is really fascinating to think about, you know, the way that these cycles happen. And I love, you know, that connection with the I Ching and how it, you know, the wheel, we go through it, you know, and we go through every year, we go through the same wheel of the transits and the gates at almost the same time. So then thinking about like, you know, the flow, we talk so much about like, how do we get into the flow? How do we follow the natural flow of everything? And this is one beautiful way to do that. right? Just as the seasons is a beautiful way to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean that has an impact on all of us, and it depends on where you are in the world, what kind of impact you're having at any given moment in terms of seasons. But it impacts our daily life. It's like today here we're having a little snowstorm, so that's impacting me not wanting to go out. So because it's snowy, right? So it impacts even your day-to-day life. But those also impact how we feel that day, right?
Yeah.
With the weather, with the seasons, with the people are more in hermit mode during the winter because that's the natural energy of the winter, right? Whereas summer, people want to be out and about and all that. Depending on where you are, you might be in summer or winter now, depending on what hemisphere you're in. But it does flow. Like our feelings flow, our energy levels flow with the weather, with the neutrinos, with the transits, with the full moons. Like we're impacted by so many things that are, just part of being human.
Absolutely.
On this big rock we call Earth.
Oh my.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, we're in a new year and things are new, and yet there's still so much change to come. There's still shedding to be done. We look at that and it's like, okay, if I want to be intentional and I want to use this energy of ambition and drive, I can also put that towards my shedding.
Yeah.
What I want to have released. And so what is it that, is coming up right now? Or what is it that I feel like, what? I want to make more space here in this part of my experience. So taking that time and kind of, okay, what is that? What does that look like for me? What is it that I want to say, okay, I'm kind of done with this phase or this experience, or, it could be so much more too. This job, this relationship, this whatever it is, right? But really being intentional about, what does resonate for me, what does not resonate for me. Is this something that I'm open and willing to put my energy towards? Is this something I don't want to put my energy towards anymore? And noticing how you feel if you're emotional, how you feel when you're thinking about all of these different options. If you're sacral, asking those yes or no questions, right? The spleen has no idea what's happening tomorrow. It's just like, oh, today it's fine. Okay. Yeah. So sounding boards and all of that, and speaking it out loud. And so just noticing, like, as I honor this for myself, how does it feel within my body? What's showing up for me? And how do I want to, where do I want to go from here? Doesn't mean I have to, off to the races, not just yet, but, I get to kind of explore that and see what's possible in that open and curious way.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's a beautiful time to explore, like, what is possible. I think I saw something earlier here, actually. Hypnocity said, I did choose possibilities as my word for the year.
Beautiful.
And I think that's a great way to do it, right? So sitting with yourself now at this time of year, and instead of doing, New Year's resolutions or whatever, do New Year's discovery, self-discovery. Sit and sort of review, where am I at? What am I doing? And how does that feel?
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like doing a business plan. I go back to business, but it's kind of like doing a business plan, but for yourself. You can kind of sit there and go, okay, so what am I involved in? Whether it's like, yes, I'm involved in this activity, this type of job. So how do I feel about this? And what would it take for me to feel good, passion, excitement for what I do? And then explore the possibilities of, what does that mean for me?
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't mean jumping in, but it means exploring them and just deciding, is there something I can change in this situation? Is there something that I would love more than where I am? Or is this a time to just be happy with the safety and security of where you are, which a lot of us need that piece too. So
yeah, and it's okay. I mean, I was actually talking about this today, that the idea of, when we get caught up in, especially things like social media and stuff like that, and how it can cause us to want more or to strive for more. And then we get into all of this manifesting and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, but what do I need versus what I think I want? And what divinely do I actually want? Right? And how do I get into alignment with that as opposed to with all the noise wanting? Because they're very different energies. And ultimately, the things that we really want come with those more calm energies associated with them. Even excitement and joy still has this grounding and peace to it.
mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it becomes anxiety, and right? And so we look at that and go, okay, how do I move myself in a way that actually resonates and feels aligned versus, all the things the world says I have to be doing or having in order to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And not letting yourself give in to that, what the world says it's okay or wants you to be. Right?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that, and why it was so important as a reflection that I put in there, that idea of success. What is success to me? But then also asking, like, where does that narrative come from? Is that what is actually success for me? Or is that something I've been told that I'm successful when? Right? And so if we notice that, maybe this narrative I have around success actually isn't even what I think it is, well, now I have a great thing to contemplate. What is this for me? What does that actually look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a question. What is success? What does success look like for all of you?
Mm-hmm.
Put it in the comments. What do you think success is? Because I guarantee you it's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just the nuances of it or of how you create it for yourself.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really interesting thing when we think about how defined or definitive we get around certain things. And then we stop and go, does that actually resonate? Does that really feel aligned?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Being content, knowing I have enough. Mm-hmm. Yes. We have enough, we are enough. We do enough.
All of the enoughs.
All of the enoughs.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Brenda. Thanks for joining us.
Brenda.
Hello, hello. So the question was, so Brenda says having her needs met. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, we're stuck on the phone. Yeah. Agreeing with ethnicity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That soul quiet feeling of contentment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Working on being enough, you already are enough. You're working on accepting that you are enough. Or knowing that you are enough. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's it, right? We are conditioned before we're even born. Right? And so, yeah, I mean, conditioning starts before we arrive in the world, in the womb and all of that. But to think that we have to be a certain way, act a certain way, have a certain thing, whatever it is, this external stuff, for others, right? Because even that idea of being a certain way and all of that, that has nothing to do with us. That's how am I being perceived, and what is the other person going to think, and all of that. And so everything shifts from inside of us, and truly, I am enough because I am, to I am enough because ...
Yeah.
Right. And so, this idea of becoming enough, we have to look at that and go, and this is soapbox for a minute. I don't know where Gerald's little soapbox. This is my issue I have with manifesting in general, is that it presumes that we have to do something, or that we have to hit a certain frequency, or we have to do all of these things in order to bring something to us from the external. And that is not what it's about. It is about aligning ourselves with who we want to be, and then living that way and noticing what unfolds. It's very different. We don't, the moment that we need something external in order to be okay, we have now just said, I'm not okay as I am. I'm not enough as I am. I don't have enough as I am. And so it's this shift that has to happen within us, not about, I need to bring in $1 million. It's, I need to be who I want to be as me authentically. And then whatever the universe has to give me, I'm going to be open for it. And whatever the universe doesn't want to give me, that's okay. I don't need it. Right. And it's a completely different shift, because now when we're in that place of manifesting something, it's got nothing to do with what the ego wants. It's got nothing to do with what the world tells us we're supposed to have. It's completely set in, this is who I am, and this feels aligned for me, and this is what I'm willing to put my energy towards in order to bring that forward.
So Brenda agrees.
Aw, thanks, Brenda.
Thank you. And Hypnicity said as well, knowing I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So that's, I guess, for me, some of that is trust. Trusting that, there's a divine plan, and wherever I am is where I'm meant to be, because that's the plan. That can be challenging, right? But I think it is about trusting the divine plan and where we're, allowing it to play through in our life. But I guess the thing with that is that people think we have choices and we have all of this control over where we're going, which we have some, right? We have some control over what happens, but it's really our perception of what is going to happen anyway. I think in many times, we do have, I am going to either turn left or right here, and we have that choice, but it's just a matter of trusting that we're listening with our hearts to our guides as well. And so whatever our desires are likely where we're being guided. Yeah. And that can help with that trust.
Yeah. And that's hard. It's hard to get out of our own way, right? Absolutely. Like there's a couple of things, like Hypnicity at one point had said something about surrender, and how surrender was what allowed for these shifts to happen. And I know I've shared this on the show before, but like it took that moment of surrender for me, of trying to do it all myself over and over again, and going, I can't do this, and being guided in order to be able to make transitions. And that's happened multiple times in my life, where I've gone, okay, now what?
Yep.
Right. And just let the universe kind of guide those next steps. Now, it hasn't been as bad as that first one was, me wailing in my bed going, it's done. I can't do anything, like help, to learning to go, okay, now what, to the universe, and having that trust. But this is the piece, because, I think the other side of it is we get caught up in contentment, and we don't always recognize that doesn't necessarily mean complacency, right? Like, yes, I am exactly where I'm meant to be right now. That doesn't mean I'm not going to shift. It doesn't mean I'm not going to change. It doesn't mean that things aren't going to transition for me. But it also means that I'm going to allow myself to be where I am and see how that feels.
Yeah.
Right? And if I need to shift or transition, what am I doing in order to move in that direction? Am I trying everything and anything to make it happen or to force it to happen? Am I opening myself to the possibility of change? How is it meant to come to me? I mean, there's so many things that play into all of that.
Yeah, for sure. And when we're talking about the expectations, I think these comments are appropriate. It seems like everyone's expected to have goals these days. Yeah, it's true. And Ocean Garnet says, I keep fighting with the idea what society thinks is a successful person.
Yeah.
And the older I get, the more I've learned I can become successful on my own terms.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And this too, like faith and forgiveness and faith are keys that unlock many doors, for sure. They are.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean we can jump into it easily, right?
Well, and when we look at, you know, even just this society, right, and what we're told to be successful, like I think that we, you know, especially now, it's so interesting. We talk about patterns, right? Because this was also part of a conversation earlier today about the way that we have the spiritual evolution, right? This idea of the journey, and there's, you know, it's it's just, sorry, I'm like deja vu again. But so we have these self-awareness and this ability to move into this spiritual realm. You know, we're starting to see that a lot of those teachings around that of like everything is sunshines and lollipops and rainbows, like that's not what the spiritual journey is about. And as we begin to shift our understanding of that, I think we're able to see that, you know, so much of what we're being called to is to just be, really to allow ourselves to intentionally be present, to consciously be aware, and to just have moment to moment experiences. But because there's all of this other agenda out there, which is, and you know, you guys can get mad at me for saying it, but it's very ego based in I have to, you know, I have to become this, and I have to no longer have these feelings, and I have to be able to, you know, get rid of my anger, and I have to be in this place of, you know, I'm only resonating at this frequency, and I'm not doing, you know, like, whoa, like scale it back. We are here to have human experiences. And the more that we open to that truth, the more we realize that they're all encompassing. And so it's not about never having the difficult experience or never being triggered or never having any of that. It's about navigating it differently. And it's about opening ourselves to what else is possible. But it's never about negating what it is to be human.
No. I mean, we are going to feel angry. We are going to feel sad. We are going to feel grief. We're going to feel all of those things. Being spiritual doesn't take that away. Because if it took it away, it would take away a whole lot of lessons that we go through here.
Yeah.
Right?
And so when we think about success, even success on the spiritual journey, like we have to make sure that we are defining that in a way that is aligned for us. And again, what's aligned for me may not be what's aligned for Tanys, may not be what's aligned for you. And that's all okay. But noticing like what is actually aligned for me, and how do I want to move in that direction, and how do I want to hold space for those I care about. So even if what it is isn't aligned for us, that's okay. Can we hold space for one another on that journey?
Yeah.
Right.
That authenticity piece comes up for me in that, right? Authenticity and presence. How can we be true to ourselves and not do the self-abandonment, like be that authentic me and not worry about necessarily what's coming up for others around that. Not in an uncompassionate way, of course, like, you know, still being compassionate with interactions and whatnot. But, you know, the boundaries, for instance, we talk a lot about boundaries, and those can be very loving, because it gets complicated if we abandon ourselves all the time without boundaries, right? and we allow things that don't resonate with us to be a big presence. It creates angst for all of us, for everybody, even the people doing it, because you end up having resentment, and that resentment is doing more damage. Right? So that at least having the boundaries and expressing them, then at least that, okay, they're aware that that's where we're at, and this is what my boundary is. Like, you push past my boundary, I'm going to be upset. It's kind of that human thing,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I say this often to clients when it comes to boundaries, is boundaries aren't there for the people that honor them.
Yeah.
Right? Boundaries are there for the people who don't like them. So to go, oh, I set a boundary and they were offended. Yeah. Or they were mad at me. Yeah. Right? That's why we have them. We have them for the people who don't want them. Otherwise, we wouldn't need them.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have a couple of things here that have come up. We've got Ocean Garnet has a friend who keeps trying to dictate my life. She keeps trying to steer me in her direction, work in her field. Gets tiring. I know in my heart it's not my path to follow. Yeah. So that's like projection, right? Definitely something that happens. Sometimes doing nothing is exactly what's needed. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Big hello to Patricia. Hello.
Oh, Happy New
Year. And I realized that it took everything it took to get me to this place. I'm so grateful. So I'm grateful for the blessings as well as the lessons. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's a good place to be if we can look at that stuff, because even the hardest lessons, they do impact who we are. And oftentimes we're better for it after. During, it's challenging, but we can usually see the lesson after and be grateful to have learned whatever about it, right? If we allow ourselves to do that. And that's where that faith and forgiveness thing that Melanie was saying, right? Being able to step in and have faith that it happened for a lesson, it happened for a reason, we needed to know that. And then having forgiveness around whether it's for ourselves, for reactions or whatever, or for somebody else for doing the projections that they might be doing or whatever the case may be, right? And then just trying to be true to ourselves and what we need in the situation and putting up those pesky boundaries wherever they're needed.
Well, and it's so interesting too when we talk about like that idea of faith and forgiveness and forgiving, ourselves and others. And I think too, the more that we notice, like, what is it that's triggering me? What is it that's happening right now? Like, the more that we're able to be in that observer place, we're able to go, okay, when you said this, it made me feel this way. No, when you said this filter that I put it through is making me feel this way. Okay.
Yes.
I don't necessarily mean that I like what you said. And I might still come back and say, this needs to change. This isn't okay. But I need to process through what filter just happened here for me so that I can come back at it in such a way where I'm going, you know what, when you did this, it's not okay. And this needs to change. And this is, what's going on for me in this moment. That's a boundary I'm setting. But if I don't do that inner work first and I come back at it, I'm going to be like, right? Because
yes.
we're reactive if we're not processing like, okay, this actually wasn't okay. I'm, going to deal with my stuff. And then I'm going to come back and navigate that and say, like, this is where things are, right, with this. But I think that we get so kind of caught up in where we're at. So, like, ocean. I love that you're sharing with us. Thank you, because this is vulnerable to share with everybody.
It
And
is,
I
yeah.
appreciate
Thank you.
that, with hypnicity as well, like some of the things, all of you guys have all shared like so much of your lives with us. And I know we share too. And I love this community for that, and that ability for us to share even tough stuff with each other. Yeah. But when we have people who are doing that, like who are pushing their agenda on us, we have to take a step back. And yes, there's projection and all those other things, but like, what's going on inside of me that I'm not just going, hey, you know what, I'm not going to do that, that's not aligned for me. And I'd really appreciate it if you stopped doing that. Right? Because
I think there's things that come into a play in there, like the fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment. All of those things could be really strong, like subconscious programs that kind of play in the back of our minds as well. So sometimes it's hard for us to stand up for where we feel we need to stand up for, because we're afraid, because we're people, right? We're meant to be in community. So that's got to be one of the biggest ones, is that rejection, abandonment kind of wounding that comes up for us. And but I mean, you're only ever responsible for your own actions and reactions.
Yeah.
Right? We're not responsible for others, as long as we're delivering messages with compassion. I think that's the important piece there. So we're giggling because we get our little 5-minute warning, because we often will do our home play at 5 minutes.
But also it's like, where does the time go?
I don't know.
Where does the time go?
Time is just a man-made concept anyway.
Oh, truth. But yeah, I think that we, the more that we spend time getting to know ourselves, the more we're able to notice when those triggers come up, the more we're able to notice, like, it's exactly it, Tanys, what you were saying is, like, can I notice what's being triggered inside of me right now that's causing me to feel a certain way about this? And I use this example so often with clients, and I'm sure I've said it on Twillow before. But if you're walking down the street, I'll say, if I'm walking down the street and somebody's like, you've got the ugliest green hair I've ever seen. What's wrong with you? Why'd you dye your hair green? I'd be like, who are you talking to? All right. No part of me owns that, because my hair is not green. I know my hair is not green. So I'm not taking it in. I'm like, okay, you're on something, or you're talking to somebody else, but like, it doesn't come in at all. Right? But the moment that a part of us believes even a piece of it can be true, I dyed my hair. I dyed the tips of it green 2 weeks ago. I thought it was all gone. I thought I cut it all out. Maybe there's some green in there, right? The moment that there's a part of us that goes, it could be true, we own that shit. Sorry. We own that stuff, right? And we take it on, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
What just happened inside of me that I'm taking all that on?
Yeah.
Right? What part of me is owning some of this?
And so many times it's that wounded child, the inner wounded child, right?
Yep.
So understanding that can help us to move through that a little bit too, that it's the emotional part of us, that soft center that owns it, as opposed to the brain. The brain, you can be like, well, I don't have green hair, I'm not owning that. But the inner child is like, they're making fun of me, and I got made fun of all the way through school. And so you're right back, right? As soon as that sort of taunting thing happens, we tend to go right back to those previous experiences that we've had.
Yeah.
So
the more that we can notice, again, what's going on inside of me? What am I worried about? What is my fear around this? All of that, the more we can go, okay. Right? Or if we need to, we let ourselves express. which goes with our card. Let yourself rage, howl, and wail.
Oh,
right? Great releasing card.
all about release. Isn't that what we're in right now?
And it's such a beautiful thing too to have that release. However, it works for you. But okay, here we go. Let yourself rage, howl, and wail. Is your sacred mother carrying your emotional pain and unexpressed sound? You have been given the gift of sound to transform your emotional body. Use this gift, grandchild. Although you have been trained to silence your sound for the sake of peace, this is not the way that humans acquire peace. Chaos within creates chaos without. It is sacred law. Your sound is natural and necessary as the wolf's howl. Do not believe that your silence is holy, for you have deep feelings to express. If you don't express the sound that needs to flow out of you, someone else is bound to express it for you. Your sacred mother is the holder of all things, and her load is heavy with her children's unwanted rage and grief. Share this burden with her and say yes to expressing your rage safely. Go be with yourself. Do not make another human being the recipient of your strong emotion. Give yourself permission to wail and howl away the ancient wounds. Great freedom lives on the other side.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that brings us full circle in
Yeah.
a way. How we were saying, it was nice to be in the theater with not very many people. So we're not like impacting others, and they're not impacting us in the same way. So,
but that howl, wail, rage. I know I've shared this experience with you guys, and again, appreciate the safe space to be able to do so. But one of my biggest kind of transformative moments was having to release something I didn't want to release, and having to transition with something that I had no control over. And I remember laying in bed and scream crying and wailing and really allowing that release to happen, because I couldn't hold it. There was no part of me that could hold it in anymore. And afterwards, I really was able to move into acceptance of the situation, but I had to have that release. And if I hadn't, it would have simmered, and that's not something that we want to have inside of us. And it did for so long, that when it finally came to a head, that release, as much as it was a full body tremor kind of cry, it felt so good. It was hard, it was painful, but it felt so wonderful after, to have just let it all out.
Yeah, those deep wrenching cries, right? When you're getting all of that old stuff and you're pulling it up and just expressing, because emotion's energy, right? So we're just expressing the energy in a way that, and if we're off on our own, like the card says, we're not impacting anybody else, but we are doing a beautiful thing for our body, for our emotions, for our energy. So thanks, Ocean Garnet.
Yay.
We're happy to have you. Melanie says, I'm grateful for this community. Well, we're grateful for you guys too. Hey, Jack.
Hey, Jack. Thanks for being with us.
Taking a full exhale. Okay. Now's the time. Just do it. Just do it. A big exhale right down to your tips of your toes. Yes. We all do.
It's the cleansing we all need at one point in our lives. Absolutely.
Definitely. So what have you got going on?
That is a great question.
Isn't it? I'm looking too, going, I don't know what I have going on. What do I have going on? Well, I have enlightenment evening tonight.
Yes.
So that's here in person.
Yay. Good.
So, I have infinite integrations with Jacqueline on Wednesday at 5. So come and join us for that. I have a level 2 Reiki on the weekend. It's in person. So if you're in Ottawa, that's coming up. And then Twillow Talk next week. Oh.
Yay.
Looks like that's what I've got for now. We do have, we should mention the Peacekeepers. So we do have Peacekeepers of the Light, another cohort starting this month, the 17th. So if that's something that you're interested in and you want more information, please reach out to us, okay? And we can chat about it. So that's our Peacekeepers of the Light. It's like our light warriorship program. And it's a 2-year program. So what have you got going on?
I think I mentioned it last time. So at the end of December, but on the solstice, I actually had a video come out with Jeff Marr, and we talked about the Lyran legacy, and we talked about all kinds of really neat things there. So you can find all of that. Actually, before that, I had one with Karen, who's going to be on with us coming up soon as well. And so both of those are in the on my YouTube. So you can go ahead and take a look at those. As far as like lives go, I don't have a whole lot coming up. Well, nothing between now and next time. But I mentioned it earlier. I did just put out a blog on passengerconsciousness.ca. So you can take a look at that and sign up for the blogs if you want to, learn more about transits and all that kind of fun stuff. But I talk about the transits between now and the end of February. So all the energies that are going to be happening during this final shedding period, the Human Design New Year and the energy around that, and then the Chinese New Year and the energy around that. So it's all in that blog. There's some collective invitations and reflections for you to move through those energies. So that is there for you if you would like. And I think that's more kind of where my energy is at the moment when we're talking about, what we're putting out there energy wise. It's going to be some of those, shorter videos and little snippets and things like that that we're going to be moving towards in the in-betweens. So like and subscribe, all that fun stuff, and you'll see them.
You'll see the New Year readings as well on the YouTube, and then the extended ones.
Keep going.
And then the extended ones that are in the membership page.
Yes.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
We also have a new reading that's coming
out. We do have a new reading coming out. We're going to be doing a galactic reading. Collective readings. Middle of the month. So stay tuned.
Yes. And then, of course, the lives, which we hope to plan ahead for so that you guys actually know when they're coming, as opposed to just surprise. Guess what? We're
working on it. We're working on it.
Because that's how we generally progress. If you happen to be on and catch us, then great.
Exactly. Yeah. You're interested in learning more. Is this for the Warrior program? So if you are interested in learning more, you can get a hold of me here. Tanys at twillowlifestyle.ca, and we can have a chat. And Jen and I work out that. So that's my email if you want to email me there. The other thing is that I do have a video coming out with Glenda Dawson and Sylvain Rochelle for the Alliance. It's coming out on the 7th. We recorded it, I don't know, 2 weeks before Christmas or so, but it's coming out on the 7th of January. So stay tuned for that. I will share it on my Facebook page. It's on Glenda's page, but we'll share it on the Facebook pages. and on the Alliance for Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact as well. So
very cool. Very cool.
So
and thank you, Kaylee. Kaylee said that the Mary Magdalene series, that was so much fun to do. And I want to do a bit more of that. So that'll be on the For the Love of Mystics page and Instagram and under that playlist. But I want to do some more, a little bit more controversial, a little bit more fun debunking of things and all of that. So more to come.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And we're also working on some other opportunities for community building as well. So stay tuned. There's lots in the works. And how do you like our new branding, by the way? Right. So let us know in the comments what you think of the new brand. We're pretty excited about it. And we're looking forward to another whole year of Twillow Talk. Yay. And having you guys come and meet us and join us here every Monday at 5 p.m. And, whenever else we're on, because, we all know there's other times. So we love you all and thank you for joining us today. Final words, Jen?
Lots of love, lots of, love and light, and just beautiful shedding energy to help with the transition. Mm-hmm. Give yourself grace, give yourself compassion, give yourself forgiveness.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Lots of love, everyone. Mm-hmm. We'll see you next week. Bye now.